Welcome back to Open Up. Thank you so much for joining us.
Tina Miller and Don Clark here.
Yes.
So glad to be with you. Listen, we want to pay a special honor to those businesses that really stand with us. It's DB and Company, Printing and Marketing, right behind the Fox Theater, right next to Happy Jack's there on 2001 G Street. We're talking about David Bass and his crew over there. They've got a tremendous team that can help companies of any size maximize getting your image out there and reaching real profitability. And there's their number, 661-324-2222. Also, very happy to promote the Gentle Internal Cleansing Therapy of Colon Therapy Center, Janet Eileen Mitchell, right out there at Callaway and Brimhall. People raving about the health benefits they're experiencing from this wonderful internal cleansing. Just go to bakersfieldcolonics.com or the number there, 661-378-3408. And Cruise Through Car Wash. Boy, are we glad to have them as our sponsors. 7 locations here in Bakersfield, growing all the time, 2 over for you in Lancaster. 5 minutes in and out. You got a beautiful, spotless wash, and great people there.
Yes, Don. And our friends over at Kern Construction and Electric Incorporated, Robert Miller, longtime resident of Bakersfield, 661-322-5554. Robert is a delightful person to work with.
He truly is.
Yes, Don, and also I'd like to mention that I'm sure our viewers saw the commercial about the sponsors we have running their commercials. Personal Express, you're hearing the voice of Don behind that, and also to our dear friends at Family Motors, thank you so very much.
Jose Arredondo, a
Yes.
great leader in our city.
Yes.
Well, we're continuing a conversation we started last week about getting older but not getting old. And we've got with us John Garner, who's really a specialist in this area. And John, is leisure the ideal end of this aging process where we just kick back, take it easy, live in leisure world and everything's done for us? What keeps us vital?
That is a really a very interesting word in itself, leisure. I can tell you this, that I lived for some time down in the Naples, Fort Myers, Florida area, and there is Cape Coral is a little community down there, and the predominant, probably 90-something% of all of the people that live there are ending their life in leisure, or ending their life in an environment in Florida, this beautiful area. It's surprising how many people, I actually worked with a hospice program down there. It's surprisingly how many people work all of their lives to where that one day when they can retire, but they wait so long for that leisure moment that all of a sudden they do it, and they only have a few moments left in their life.
All the fizz is gone.
So I would say that the leisure is something that we should include into our lives in all of the seasons of our lives.
Yes.
It's something that we should understand is a component of every portion of our life. But even as leisure is a component of each season of our life, that living by purpose is probably the greater reason for what we were doing. So if we were talking about anything, I would say that purpose-driven saging for the chronologically blessed is probably more important in bringing vitality to our lives, to live on with some purpose in our life that we can go with. To go sit on a beach sipping a margarita, I'm sure to many would be the top number one portion on their pyramid of desires. But what is most fulfilling is doing something, knowing that you're making a difference in other people's lives, in looking around you and seeing the lives around you that are important to you, and then thinking about what is it that I have and that I've learned in my life that I can share with others in an intentional way, and in a way that can help them maybe not make some of the same mistakes that I made, or help them in the fact that they are making some of the same mistakes that I made, or hopefully we can share some of the things that we have found success in, and help move them into those elements of success. And so I would say that leisure is important. As whatever you do, you should wear leisure shirts in your chronological blessed years. But at the same time, it's probably leisure as a concept is much more overdone for fulfillment.
Yeah.
In our senior time and season of our life. And so I would suggest that living by purpose and living with a purpose of knowing what we can do with others and for others is much more vitalizing and revitalizing in everything that we're doing. What are we doing for our grandchildren? What are we doing for our children? I mean, you can always write a check at the end of your life and say, here's what I'm leaving you. But that's not what you really want to leave them. What you really want to leave them is the stuff that you found in your life that is important, and the decisions that you made that were maybe not all that good. We need to be honest with each other, and we need to take this time to be the sages in our communities and our families and those that we love.
And then so regularly taking leisure in every season
That's
of
right.
your life.
And it's during those leisure times that we have with our family. As I mentioned last time, we got a big old bus and we put all of our family in it, and we all went to the Grand Canyon. Well, it was the time I bought every one of the grandchildren a ukulele. And we sat and we learned how to play the ukulele together as we went. And it was leisure time. It was leisure time. What's more leisure than playing a ukulele? But with a Hawaiian shirt. But it's the idea of sharing something and leaving something with those that you have.
Leaving a legacy.
Leisure is good, but legacy building is really important.
Well, I want to touch on one other thing. One hard thing about being a sage is sometimes you reach the age where no one really cares what you think, and you try to share it, and no one's listening, and that's another. But John, what I've seen, the fundamental difference, Tina, in my life, from my working life when I was full-time in journalism, there were always deadlines. There was always 10 more things to do. And if I were in a conversation with you, Tina, or I could be cordial, but I was always glancing off. I was always moving on to the other thing. Now, what I've found at this stage in my life is time has taken on a richness. It's a density. I can just be with you, and if the conversation lasts 20 minutes or 2 hours, it's okay. I mean, you get to give to each thing what it deserves. And that old phrase, never miss a chance to shoot the breeze, where you can just shoot the breeze and learn so much in there and share so much in there.
Yes, Don. And one thing that I could give to you, or we give to each other, that you can't get back is time. And I like that, how you talk about the richness of it. Your thought, John.
This is just this is the golden part of getting older. We talk about getting old, and we think about the debilitating parts and the parts that make you forget your wife's name and make you forget the places that you've been and things like that. But the good parts, that's what you're talking about, is you're sitting back and realizing that all of a sudden now I have time. Yeah. I have time to really focus in a communication with someone.
And I'm enjoying it.
Yeah. And so I think that we need to be thankful in no matter what season of life we're in.
Yes.
But especially as we move into the season of life that everybody says, "Oh, I don't want to get old." After our time last week together, Don and I went to a restaurant, and Don introduced what we had talked about to a group of chronologically blessed individuals that were sitting in the booth next to us. And the one lady says, well, I don't ever want to get old. Well, and that's good, but what she was talking about is she didn't want those negative aspects of getting older to invade her life. And I think that's the best way to do that is to focus on the thankfulness of the good things. And Don, you bring out a good point. Take time to shoot the breeze.
You know, I think I remember a response. Some grandkids were asked, kids were asked, what is a grandpa and what is a grandma? And the answer was, oh, those are people who have time.
That is.
They have time for you. Well, we're out of time for this segment. Grow old, not old. John Garner, there's a senior lifestyle consultant. Listen, if you'd ever like to just talk to John, he'll take your call. 661-549-1051. Shoot the breeze. And John J. Garner, 2015 at gmail.com. Make a friend here. He's available for all of us. And John, we're going to ask you to stick around. We have another guest coming, but we think John may have some excellent input on what we're going to be talking. And what are we going to be talking about next?
Oh, John, we're talking about, if you know someone who needs an organ transplant, and our next guest has had a kidney transplant.
Okay.
And I don't know if you know it, but I had one of my kidneys removed, so I only have one kidney.
I did not know that.
Yes, been operating with it for years since my military days. So anyway, stay with us. We'll be back in a minute.